Sounds like they're having fun out there. Oh, didn't see you there. Welcome to Call of Duty, where the firefights are intense, stakes are high, and sometimes you just need a little snack break. For those unfamiliar, Call of Duty, published by Activision, is one of the biggest franchises in gaming history. The first-person shooter has captivated millions of players worldwide and generated over $30 billion. From epic campaigns, heart-pounding multiplayer battles, and even some zombie outbreaks, Call of Duty has a little something for everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Wyatt, a longtime player, amateur esports competitor, and a bit of a data enthusiast. I spent countless hours around this game, and not just playing it, but studying the systems that make games like this tick. And beyond the thrill of playing the game, there's a complex world of matchmaking algorithms, anti-cheat measures, reporting systems, player behavior, and more. Ever wonder how you're paired with players? Why sometimes you dominate and other times you get destroyed? Maybe you're thinking about that time you ran into a cheater, reported them, and thought to yourself, does Activision actually do anything to combat cheating? So, while the battle rages on out there, why don't we take some time to take a deep dive into the analytics of Call of Duty? Trust me, it's going to be far more interesting than just sitting in there, though I do enjoy my snacks. So, whether you're a seasoned veteran, a newbie, or just here for the snacks, this video has something in it for you. Who knows, maybe by the time we're done, you'll see Call of Duty in a whole new light. Now, sit back, enjoy the ride, or crouch in a corner if you prefer, and let's get into the data. Alright, let's talk about something that affects every single multiplayer match you play in, but rarely gets the proper explanation it deserves. Matchmaking systems. At the heart of Call of Duty's multiplayer experience is skill-based matchmaking, or SBMM. SBMM is designed to pair you with players of similar skill levels. The goal? To create a balanced and competitive match where everyone has a fair shot at victory. So, how does Call of Duty actually calculate your skill and use it to create balanced matches? After each match you play, the game evaluates your performance, comparing you to every other player in that match, regardless of team. It's not just about your kill-death ratio or your score, it's about how you performed relative to others in that specific lobby. If you outperform players who typically play better than you, your skill rating increases. Conversely, if you didn't do as well against players who are usually less skilled than you, your rating decreases. The same system is used in ranked play. When you gain skill rating, or SR, you may notice you performed very well in a match, but didn't gain much SR. This is possibly because you were playing against a team that, according to the skill disparity, wasn't expected to win. This system can actually also work in your favor, as if you win a match you aren't expected to perform well in, you gain lots more SR. To make sense of everyone's skill levels, Call of Duty matchmaking converts raw skill numbers into skill percentiles. This helps normalize the distribution of players, ensuring matchmaking is fair across the board. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie, a seasoned veteran, your percentile helps match you with similarly skilled players. So, how does this work when putting together a match? The system aims to group players whose skill percentiles are close to each other. This means you're more likely to be matched with players whose abilities are on par with yours, creating a competitive but fair environment. Imagine there are hundreds of thousands of players searching for a game at any given moment. Comparing every possible combination would take forever, so the system uses heuristics to efficiently select the best candidates for a match. What this means is that beyond just your skill level, the matchmaking system considers factors like geographic location and ping, or whether you're using a controller or keyboard and mouse. But what happens when you're partied up with friends who have different skill levels. The matchmaking system uses skill similarity and skill disparity rules to handle this. Skill similarity rules are rules that try to ensure that the average skill level of parties in a match are similar. Skill disparity rules minimize the differences between the highest and lowest skilled players in a match. So, if you're playing with a highly skilled friend, the system does its best to find groups of opponents with similar skill disparities in their parties. Let's take a look at a visual example. When you try to matchmake, everyone has a skill assigned based on their percentile, 0.9 being in the top 10% and 0.1 being in the bottom 10% of skill. Party A has 2 members with a skill range from 0.4 to 0.6, making their average skill a 0.5, and a skill disparity of 0.2. Party B ranges from 0.55 to 0.65, making their average skill a 0.6 with a disparity of 0.1. Not only does the system check if the average skill of each party is within an acceptable range, the system also checks if the disparities are similar. In this case, the difference in party disparities with Party A at 0.2 and Party B at 0.1, the difference is 0.1, which is most likely acceptable, so the system allows Party A and Party B to join together in a lobby, making the new skill average 0.55 with a disparity of 0.25. If a new party, C, with players of skill percentiles of 0.8 and 0.5 is searching for a match, with an average skill of 0.65, just 0.1 above the lobby average, the lobby could let those 2 players join. However, the system will notice the disparity in that party is 0.3, which is higher than the current lobby disparity of 0.25, which will usually block Party C from joining the lobby, having them move on to look for more acceptable matches. Of course, the system also considers factors like how long you've been waiting for a match. Over time, it gradually loosens the constraints on skill differences to reduce wait times. So, eventually, higher skilled players may end up in lobbies with lower skilled players, and it's particularly tricky around parties with high skill disparities. The primary goal of matchmaking is to get you in a fair match as quickly as possible, without compromising the quality of the gameplay. This complex balancing act tries to create matches that are both fair and fun, but it's why sometimes you might face tougher opponents and other times the match feels a bit too easy. When I finally started to understand this system, it made playing the game feel way less stressful. And when playing ranked, it became a lot easier to understand why I gained SR or why I didn't. So, the next time you feel outmatched, remember, there's a sophisticated system working tirelessly to provide balanced gameplay for everyone. And play enough matches, you'll probably end up getting connected to a lobby where you're the better player. The current skill-based matchmaking system is not perfect, and can sometimes lead to situations where less skilled players start running into high-skilled opponents. It can be discouraging. It might even make them think, is that player cheating? Let me share a quick story. My brother and I are playing a casual match, and I already knew there's a pretty sizable disparity in our skill.
You have a UAV?
The enemy took Alpha.
Nope, I've never gotten one yet.
In simpler terms, he doesn't play COD a lot. He doesn't play ranked at all, but for me, at that time, I happened to be playing competitively for my college, and would later achieve the highest rank outside of being in the top 250 players during the debut season for ranked in Modern Warfare 2. It's pretty clear the matchmaking struggles with the large skill disparity between my brother and I, and just queuing for that match took a lot longer than normal. With the help of a suppressor and some additional streaks, I ended up getting the game-ending 30 kill streak. And at the end of the match, I knew, under normal circumstances, I shouldn't be here. To my surprise, I got an invite to an Xbox party, and decided to join through my Xbox app.
Bro, yeah, you're not supposed to be in these lobbies. There's the last 5, but you invited to an Xbox party? Bro, I guess I have to join that, right? Why am I getting invited to a party?
Hey, so what script are you running? The new one?
Script? I just played this
'cause
game.
I clipped it twice.
Okay.
Shooting me around a corner.
Appreciate.
Yeah.
Well, I had a UAV, advanced UAV.
Okay, yeah, I have Ghost, and it was after the advanced, so I'm not an idiot.
Well, Ghost doesn't work with an advanced. I don't think.
I said it was after the advanced.
Oh. Okay. I'm not cheating, so I play this game a lot. I'm playing with my
You're
brother.
level 140?
Well, yeah. You don't have to be that high level. I play custom
Well,
games a lot with
I'm
some
250.
competitive stuff.
I don't play that much. How are
Okay.
you only 140?
I just don't play pubs a lot. I play comp stuff.
I ended up being accused of cheating with a key piece of evidence that I was a lower level than them. What they didn't realize is that while my account level was low, I'd spent countless hours practicing in private matches and in competitive matches against collegiate opponents, neither of which would contribute to my player experience and level. According to Activision, when it comes to matchmaking, the performance metric used only ever involves match performance. Player progression or total time spent playing the game are not factored into skill. This highlights a key issue: the unseen skill gap. Players often judge skill based on rank or level, but those numbers don't always tell the whole story. Activision has conducted extensive research on how matchmaking affects player behavior. They found that when they reduced SBMM restrictions, players in the top 20% of skill and lower were more likely to quit the game. But for the top 10% of players, that effect was marginally positive in keeping retention. However, I still believe that even for the top 10% of players, loosening SBMM won't be beneficial for anyone in the long run. But in order to demonstrate that, let's examine a similar yet very different first-person shooter, X-Defiant. X-Defiant, a game that decided to take a different approach for its public matchmaking by not implementing SBMM at all. At first, it seemed to be a great marketing tactic, and playing it felt refreshing. But soon, the lack of balanced matchmaking led to matches that were either too easy or frustratingly hard. Without consistent challenge levels, many players, myself included, have lost interest. We can actually take this a step further and estimate how the player base of X-Defiant is changing over time. Based on the previous research of player retention, we can assume that players who consistently experience blowout losses are bound to quit the game. Even blowout wins are only fun for so long. So, as the top 10% of players leave and the bottom 10% of players leave, all of a sudden, the top 20% of players becomes the new top 10%, and the bottom 20 becomes the new bottom 10%. It's a cycle, and I'm sorry to say, as far as unranked matches go, unless X-Defiant makes some drastic changes, the data tells me X-Defiant was doomed to fail from the beginning. Bringing it back to COD, I know some of you might feel that SBMM makes every game sweatier, and removing the casual fun. But consider the alternative. Consistently unbalanced matches aren't fun for anyone. Coincidentally, several months back, there was actually a bug in Call of Duty's servers that resulted in skill-based matchmaking being turned off. It only happened for a few hours, but I was actually playing the game during that time, and in my first match, it was clear something was wrong. In a map that I had never played before, or even seen before, I was able to get 30 kills in a team deathmatch immediately without dying. This clearly ruined the game for everyone involved. And when I figured out skill-based matchmaking was broken during that time, everything made perfect sense. And I knew I didn't really earn that kill streak. If understood properly, SBMM pushes us to improve, to adapt, to strategize. It's part of what makes the game engaging. Call of Duty's matchmaking isn't just about pairing players, it's about creating an experience that keeps us all coming back. It's a complex system with room for improvement. It's also essential for the health of the game. But matchmaking is just one piece of this puzzle. Next, let's examine how these systems tie into the reporting mechanisms and the challenges of combating cheating in such a large game. Now that we've explored how matchmaking works, let's shift our focus to another critical aspect of the Call of Duty experience, the player reporting system, and its challenges. As players, most of us are familiar with the reporting system. It's our primary tool for flagging disruptive behavior in the game. According to the Call of Duty Code of Conduct, disruptive behavior encompasses any actions that negatively impact other players, everything from harassment to hate speech to cheating and exploiting. Let's dive into some data from a study by the California Institute of Technology in conjunction with Activision. On any given day, between 500,000 and 900,000 players will play a match of Call of Duty. Let's assume the best possible case for the reporting system, with the smaller player count. During an average day, out of approximately 500,000 players, 8.76% of them are reported. That's 43,800 players every day. Because of the massive number of reports, only about 13.81% of these reports can be reviewed by a moderator, leaving us with about 6,000 reviewed reports per day. And out of those 6,000 reviewed reports, only 7.95% are even actionable. That leaves us with just under 500 players who can have actions taken against their disruptive behavior, but in terms of cheating, that number shrinks even more, with a staggering 83% of all actions addressing specifically toxic behavior, like abusive language or offensive usernames. So, only 17% of actions taken relate to cheating. On average, out of 500,000 daily players, only 82 have action taken against them explicitly for cheating through the report system alone. These numbers reveal a significant issue: the high volume of false or inaccurate reports. I believe that one reason for this is how players can misinterpret skilled gameplay as cheating, especially due to the imperfections of SBMM. It turns out I've been guilty of this myself. I decided to revisit my own footage of players that I suspected were cheating. Let's take a look. In all of the following clips, I recorded them because I believed the players in them were in fact cheating. However, it's clear after reviewing some of the evidence that a few of these players are indeed not cheating. Let's see if you can come to the same conclusions as me by looking through them. This first group of clips comes from Modern Warfare 3 in a public match, and I bet you're gonna come to the same conclusion as me in probably just one kill cam. Notice how he snaps from my teammate to then me, killing me, tracking the other teammate for a few more seconds before snapping back to another teammate on my left, tracking him through a wall and taking a shot. This second kill cam doesn't do this player any more favors by having him track another teammate through a wall and shoot him around a very sharp angle. It's important to note that features like pinging can pinpoint players' locations to other teammates, having them track enemies through walls. However, we saw in the first kill cam that he started tracking a player immediately off of spawn when there's no possible way for them to have been pinged through a building. This next clip is from Call of Duty Vanguard and showcases why kill cams can't always be relied on as key evidence in terms of proving if someone is cheating or not. Notice how in a single frame, the crosshairs from this sniper snap from far away to directly on me as I die. However, there's something else going on here. If you couldn't see it, there's actually a packet burst that happens in the very same moment that I'm shot in my kill cam, meaning the server can't update my kill cam correctly, making it look like I was just snapped onto in a single frame. However, that's probably pretty unlikely, and this player is probably not cheating. This next clip showcases Modern Warfare 3's ranked play, which at the beginning did not include kill cams, making it virtually impossible to prove whether someone was cheating or not. However, we can still be highly suspicious. I probably would have missed this clip if it wasn't for my teammate realizing that we both were killed in what appeared to be an aim lock snapping from me to him. Combine this with the fact that that player was at an extremely high ping and doing very well in our match, I'm convinced that he probably was cheating, but I just can't prove it. This last group of clips comes from Modern Warfare 2's ranked play. In a match where my team was winning pretty well at 5-0, things would start to swing in a weird direction. First, I noticed that when I died to this sniper, I found it a little odd that I had just been sniped by a team that was down 5-0. Snipers tend to be pretty risky, though it's not unheard of. The following round, I got stun checked in the staircase in a relatively strange way, where my kill cam didn't really do it any justice, so it just looked like a random stun in a really weird area. The following round, I got killed by this same player, and it was pretty instantaneous. But all that still didn't have me positively convinced enough to record the clip, assuming this player was cheating. That is, until this kill cam showed up. We see the player aiming down a common lane, but when my teammate comes around the corner in a weird area, this just happens to be the very moment that the player moves his crosshair up and aims right for him before he moves. Now, it's important to note that this match has extremely high skilled players in it, with 3 of the enemies being in the top 250 players for that season of Ranked. This means that a few of my reasons for being suspicious are probably invalid, like the sniper being pulled out is probably because these players know exactly what they're doing, and sniping on round 6 when you're down by 5 can actually be pretty effective if done right. Next, that stun in the staircase. Well, there actually are a few brief frames that if you play it slowly can see that I am visible in the kill cam. With a good monitor and a good computer, that stun might have just been because he saw me. When I'm around that corner and I get blown away, I'm just going to chalk that up to this player being very skilled. And finally, this part right here, when he aims up. It's just random luck, and it happens all the time. So, is he cheating? No. He's actually probably just really, really good, and so is his team. Out of all the videos I watched of players that I had previously thought were cheating, and in the moment recorded those videos, how many can I definitively say were actually cheating? Surprisingly few. Being able to re-examine the footage gave me a much more accurate perspective. False reports not only clog the system, making it harder to identify real cheaters, but they can also unfairly penalize innocent players. This high volume of inaccurate reports stretches moderation resources thin, potentially allowing actual cheaters to slip through the cracks. So what can we as players do to improve this system? First, understand your own skill bracket by participating in ranked matches. Finding your appropriate challenge level helps set realistic expectations. Second, before hitting that report button, take a moment to review the match. With the newly returned theater mode in Black Ops 6, you can watch the match playback to confirm any suspicious behavior. Accurate reporting data leads to better data and improves the effectiveness of any anti-cheat system. Finally, and this is going to cause a few people to leave the video now, embrace skill-based matchmaking. Understand how it works and use it to your advantage. Hone in your skills against evenly matched opponents in public matches, and consider ranked mode to measure and improve your performance meaningfully. Now, let's address some misconceptions about Activision's role in combating cheaters. Some believe Activision profits from cheaters or doesn't invest in anti-cheat measures, but the reality is that Activision spends tens of millions of dollars on anti-cheat technology. On top of that, they've taken significant legal actions against cheat developers, investing heavily all in an attempt to keep the game fair and to keep people playing. It's important to know that these systems will never be flawless, and occurrences like players being banned and then unbanned don't have to lead to mistrust in the game or its developers. In fact, they should do the opposite, reaffirming that Activision is continuously updating and fixing exploits while trying to increase the integrity of their systems to eventually be 100% flawless. Then why the heck did Activision make claims that its permanent bans are without flaws? Well, I think we need to look at it from two standpoints. The first being Activision is a for-profit company, and it needs to maintain a public appearance of integrity for shareholders and game sales. Secondly, Activision's permanent ban system under normal circumstances requires a large amount of concrete evidence and human moderation before a ban is applied. But that doesn't go without saying. I believe Activision may have shot themselves in the foot with this, and they really should have rephrased to avoid confusion. Their current statements can lead players believing that all actions taken against disruptive behavior, not just permanent bans, are flawless. In order to better understand how false actions or inactions happen in Call of Duty's anti-cheat systems, we can examine some edge cases that show some flaws do in fact exist in the current system. Interestingly, during the production of this video, an exploit was found that resulted in abusers being able to target false permanent bans onto victims. They did this by using unique phrases in text that falsely prompted ban systems into overdrive without proper cause. Modern exploits like these are extremely hard to pinpoint or even detect, and it's why Activision still really can't say with certainty that their action against disruptive players is not without flaws. To show another edge case where Activision's reporting system does not work, let me tell you the story of how I got my own account temporarily banned, without using text chat, without using voice chat, with a default PlayStation Network gamertag, all on a clean PC with no malicious hardware or software running, and best of all, I got this account banned without shooting a bullet.
It all started with me wanting to play ranked with my friends in Modern Warfare 2. However, because my regular account was already Crimson that season and my friends were still in Silver and Gold, I couldn't queue with them because our divisions were too far apart. So, I went to my PlayStation, logged in, still had my account there, and I bought a new BattleNet to link that PlayStation with. However, when I logged in for the first time, I realized that I wasn't able to jump straight into ranked and I had to get a minimum level requirement. So, what I needed to do was level up as fast as possible. What I didn't know is that because this account had never played before, the players I would play against were in a much lower skill-based bracket than I was used to. What followed was war crimes against noobs, and yes, this part was with bullets. After playing several matches in a row and performing very well, my skill base didn't seem to increase as much as I thought it would. This is probably because the skill bracket in these lobbies is so low that doing very well means relatively nothing when it comes to calculating your skill, because remember from earlier, your skill is calculated based on your performance with the players around you. So even if you do really well, these lobbies aren't going to add a lot to your current skill calculation, meaning you're kind of stuck in these lobbies for a very long time. So I can only assume that there were a few that were reporting me because they believed I was cheating. And soon enough, after just a few matches and only getting to level 15, I got booted from my first lobby. I had no idea what this meant, so I just went and queued for another match, and nothing seemed to be the matter. So I played this match like normal, until it happened again. At this point, when I tried queuing again for a game, my matchmaking would never connect, and instead, I would be left in limbo. A few Google searches later, and I realized that I may have been soft banned, meaning all matchmaking functionality is no longer available to me, which makes getting into a match pretty much impossible. In order to figure that out for certain, I went to Activision's support system and realized that this was indeed the case. There was a ban applied on my account. So, what could I do? Well, until they either said it would go away or become permanent, I had to wait. And sure enough, 3 days later, this ban was lifted. So what do you think I did? Went right back into matchmaking like nothing had happened. And 2 matches later, it happened again. Checking Activision's support system, there was indeed another temporary ban. So, After this, I was getting frustrated because this was now the second time where I was doing nothing wrong, and I knew that these bans were false and triggered by over-reporting of players who thought I was cheating, even though it was just because of a big skill gap. However, how am I supposed to play better in order to get out of my current skill bracket to the point where players realize that this is normal and I didn't have to worry about being false reported? In the 3 days following when my account was banned, I hatched a plan to level up high enough to where I could finally start playing ranked and people would stop reporting me and I could gain levels. It was simple. What do you do that makes people think you're cheating? Well, you shoot them. You show skill. So, I decided I was just gonna punch people or use grenades. Because who would report somebody for punching them, right? Sure enough, my account did get unbanned 3 days later. This plan went into action, and I was gonna make sure that everything I was doing was legit. So, here we have it, a monitor camera with controller outputs for a player who isn't even going to shoot anyone. Seems a bit overkill, right? Well, I don't know. I spent a significant amount of money so I could play with my friends, and here I was, over a week, just to try to level up like 6 more times so I could finally play ranked. And, you guessed it, I got banned. Again, while melee. I don't think I need to do anything more besides have you listen to my reaction that made me jump out of my chair so fast that I ripped my headphones out of the socket.
No way! No way! You have to be...
Outside of just using their support system to understand that I was banned, there's nothing really you can do besides go through the Better Business Bureau to contact Activision, and all they're going to tell you is that it's a matter of internal investigation and they can't tell you anything more.
Unfortunately, due to the current reporting system, soft bans like this can happen. An anti-cheat system that is flawless is impossible. The current system in Call of Duty has issues dealing with edge case scenarios, and right now, people may just have to accept the fact that false actions are indeed going to happen. And unfortunately, their appeals system is pretty difficult, if not impossible to navigate. So, why hasn't Activision said or done anything about its report system or its appeals system? Well, because until they can get the data they need to perfect their anti-cheat to an even higher degree of accuracy, Activision is not going to prioritize their appeals system. This is because fixing that system will do nothing but create additional work for them until the more important anti-cheat system works better, which in turn will make the appeals system way easier to fix with less time, effort, and money. As a company focused on maintaining a game where the overwhelming majority of players can have a fun experience, Activision is not going to risk letting in potential cheaters, even if that means letting a very small percentage of innocent players receiving false actions. So what does that mean if you've been falsely banned? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, if you're one of the very few people who have actually been falsely banned, you don't have a lot of options. But it's important to know that in the not-so-distant future, Activision's anti-cheat systems can drastically improve, if they have the right data. This could lead to a better and more streamlined appeals system. But here's the challenge. Because most players don't understand all of the systems at play in their matchmaking, it leads some players believing that hackers have completely invaded the game. Yes, in Call of Duty, there are cheaters. But not everywhere. False reports are crushing the system, making up 92% of the total reports. But we can actually do something about it by understanding the reporting system better to increase the amount of valid reports. I also don't want to lead you in the direction of not reporting anything either. In fact, we really need to start reporting things because according to the same Caltech study, disruptive behavior actually leads to an increase in more disruptive behavior. It's a ripple effect. We need more reporting, but we also need more accurate reporting. In matches where players of average skill are against players of significantly higher skill, the they can easily mistake those players as cheaters, and therefore unintentionally false report, leading to increased moderation times and a significant problem when it comes to combating the future of cheats. If trained with the proper data, future AI models could detect even sophisticated cheats with surprising accuracy. However, they would need consistently updated datasets that properly label cheaters and non-cheaters. These are essential for the development and improvement of any anti-cheat system. However, there's also a need for secrecy in anti-cheat development to prevent cheaters from exploiting anything. So, Activision is never really going to reveal exactly what they're up to in terms of their anti-cheat. Also, AI isn't perfect. Subtle cheating may slip past automated systems, so human oversight is still crucial in continuous development of these systems. One potential solution to greatly improve the data that Activision collects is by implementing a system similar to Counter-Strike Global Offensive's Overwatch. Overwatch works in tandem with Valve's anti-cheat and allows experienced players to become inspectors. Inspectors can review suspected cheaters in a match playback system. Before reporting, inspectors can see more accurate game data like player positions, health, and more. With all of the tools in the match playback, inspectors can draw more accurate conclusions and allow for much greater certainty when reporting possible cheating. It also provides something pretty significant: free labor, while somehow simultaneously improving public image. I should also note that as of last year, Overwatch has been removed from Counter-Strike, though systems like it could still have applications in Call of Duty. This community-driven approach aids in identifying and banning cheaters accurately. Such a system could also educate players on distinguishing cheaters from high-skilled players, or random occurrences that may appear to be cheating but have explanations. Personally, I'd love to dive deeper into analyzing this, and a platform like that would be invaluable. Even if Activision doesn't officially adopt such a system, fostering a community that values accurate reporting can make a difference. And as far as theater mode goes, it's possible there's still a greater internal reason for its return other than player appeasement. The fight against cheating is complex, constantly ongoing, and it requires effort from both the developers and us, the players. By understanding the systems in place and how we can contribute positively, we can help create a fair and enjoyable gaming environment for everyone. As we've journeyed through the intricate systems that power Call of Duty, we've uncovered the critical role of skill-based matchmaking in maintaining player engagement. While SBMM isn't perfect, it strives to provide fair and competitive gameplay for everyone. We've also explored the challenges within the current reporting system, highlighting how false reports can overwhelm moderation efforts. Ideally, in the future, Activision could shift from using the current report system from directly taking action against reported players, and instead utilize it to inform and enhance their anti-cheat applications. This could drastically reduce the number of false bans in the future. Also, community involvement can make a significant difference. By being more diligent and accurate with our reports, we can contribute to a better game. Even if Activision doesn't implement new systems like Overwatch, there's still something we can do right now. If you suspect someone is cheating, take a moment to watch the match back in theater mode. Look closer. You might find that the player wasn't cheating after all. Maybe they're just exceptionally skilled. In that case, you've learned something new by analyzing how they've played. Or, if they are cheating, you'll have more confidence that your report is accurate and meaningful. Call of Duty is a complex ecosystem that's constantly evolving with tons of new as well as experienced players. By understanding the intricacies of the systems working as you play, we, as players, can contribute to its growth and improvement. Thank you so much for joining me on this analytical journey through Call of Duty. I hope you found this exploration as insightful as I did. If you found this video interesting, you can support me more than you know by sharing it with people who you think might enjoy it as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions, so please drop them below in the comments. If you're interested in data science and or Call of Duty, feel free to join my Discord with a link in the description. I know I'll be diving into Black Ops 6 the second it releases, and I'd love to connect with you there. Thanks again, and as one of my favorite content creators, Kit Boga, often states in his outros, know that you're valuable and you matter. Maybe I'll see you in a future video. Until then, take care and happy gaming.